My name is Jordan Hayes. I am 21 years old, and 3 weeks ago, my sister sent me a text that said, I am quitting my job. You will take care of mom and dad while I figure things out. Just like that. No question, no request, no discussion, just a statement, an assumption, an expectation that I would put my entire life on hold, give up my dreams, and become the family bank account, while she took however long she wanted to find herself, or explore her options, or whatever other excuse she had for not wanting to work anymore. I read that text message 3 times, then 4 times, then 5. Each time, I felt something different. First, shock, then disbelief, then anger, then something that felt like clarity, like everything finally made sense, like the entire pattern of my life suddenly became visible in one text message. I stared at those words for probably 10 minutes. Then I typed out my response. That is not on me. 3 words. Short, direct, final. And then I attached a photo of the employment contract I had signed exactly 37 minutes earlier. A contract for a position at a tech company in Tokyo, Japan. Starting salary, $78,000 a year. Benefits, comprehensive. Relocation package, generous. Start date, the following Monday. For days away, for days until I would board a plane and leave the country. Leave my family, leave the life where I was always second place. Leave it all behind. I hit send. 10 minutes later, my phone exploded. Calls from my mother, calls from my father, texts from Claire. Voicemails that I could tell without listening were full of anger and accusations and guilt trips. But I did not answer. I did not listen. I did not engage. Because I was done. After 21 years of being the backup plan, the safety net, the one who was supposed to sacrifice everything so my sister could have everything, I was finally choosing myself. And I was leaving the country to do it. This is that story. And it starts long before that text message. It starts the day my sister was born. I need to take you back to the very beginning, because the dynamic in my family was not something that developed over time. It was established immediately, from day one, from the moment Claire entered the world. She was the center of it, the sun, the star, the reason our family existed, and I was just the afterthought, the accident, the inconvenient surprise that came 3 years too early. My sister's name is Claire Marie Hayes. She is 3 years older than me. I say, is, like we still have a relationship. We do not. But technically she exists. And technically, she is still my sister. At least biologically. In every way that matters. We stopped being family a long time ago. From my earliest memories, everything was about Claire. Her needs, her wants, her schedule, her activities, her achievements, her future. The entire family revolved around her. My parents' entire existence seemed to be centered on making sure Claire had everything she could possibly need or want. And I was just there, in the background, taking up space, consuming resources that could have been better spent on Claire. I do not remember Claire being born, obviously. I was only 3, but I have heard the stories. So many stories. My parents never got tired of telling them. How excited they were when they found out they were pregnant. How they spent months preparing. How they painted the nursery this perfect shade of lavender. How they bought the most expensive crib, the softest blankets, the cutest clothes. How they had a professional photographer at the hospital to document every moment. How they posted updates every hour on Facebook. Our miracle is here. Meet Claire Marie, our perfect girl, the love of our lives. I have seen the photos, hundreds of them, professional photos, candid photos, photos of my parents holding Claire, photos of Claire sleeping, photos of Claire yawning, photos of Claire doing absolutely nothing but existing. Every single moment documented and celebrated and shared with the world. When I was born 3 years later, there was exactly one photo. One. My mother holding me in the hospital, looking exhausted. No professional photographer, no elaborate posts, just a single Facebook status that said, "Baby number 2 arrived this morning. Everyone is healthy." That was it. No name, no details, no celebration. Just an acknowledgement that I existed and no one had died. I found this out when I was about 15. I was looking through old family photos with my grandmother, my dad's mother. She was showing me pictures from when I was a baby. There were maybe 20 photos total from my entire first year of life. When we looked at Claire's baby album, there were hundreds, maybe thousands. Why are there so many more pictures of Claire? I asked. My grandmother hesitated. Then she said gently, "Your parents were very excited about their first child. They documented everything. With you, they were busier. Already had one child to take care of. They did not have as much time." I knew even then that it was not about time. It was about interest, about value, about which child mattered more. My mother confirmed this years later, without even realizing how it sounded. I was 17. We were having dinner. Something on TV reminded her of when Claire was a baby. She started telling stories, going on and on about every milestone, every little thing Claire did. Then my dad asked, "What about Jordan? When did he start walking?" My mother looked blank. I do not remember exactly. Sometime around a year, I think, or maybe earlier. I did not keep as good records with him. "Why not?" I asked. "Well, you were our second child. We already knew what to expect. It was not as novel, and we were busy with Claire and her activities. We just did not have the time to document everything the way we did with her. Not as novel. That was how my mother described my childhood milestones. Not as novel, not as worth remembering, not as important. Growing up, the differences were not subtle. They were glaring, obvious to anyone who paid attention. The problem was, most people did not pay attention. Or if they did not say anything. Because you do not tell parents they are playing favorites. You do not point out that they love one child more than the other. You just quietly notice and feel bad for the kid who is getting less and hope things get better. Things never got better. When Claire was 5 and I was 2, she started dance lessons. Ballet. My parents enrolled her in the most expensive studio in town, paid for private lessons, bought her the best shoes, the fanciest leotards, the full costume for every recital. They went to every class to watch through the observation window. They recorded every practice. They made dance the center of our family's life. For the next 13 years, our family's schedule revolved around Claire's dance. Classes 3 times a week, rehearsals on weekends, competitions every month. My parents spent thousands of dollars a year, probably tens of thousands over Claire's entire dance career. They never complained about the cost. They never said it was too much. They just paid. Because Claire wanted to dance. Because Claire was talented. Because Claire deserved it. When I was 7, I asked if I could play soccer. I loved soccer. Watched it on TV. Played with kids at school during recess. Wanted to join a team. Wanted to have uniforms and practices and games, just like Claire had dance. "We will see," my dad said. I waited. Brought it up again a month later. "We are already spending so much on Claire's dance," my mom said. "We cannot really afford another activity right now. Maybe next year." Next year never came. The answer was always the same. Maybe next year. "We will see. We cannot afford it right now." Meanwhile, Claire's dance expenses kept increasing. New costumes, competition fees, travel expenses for out-of-state competitions. My parents paid for all of it without question. I never played soccer, not in a league, not with a team, not with a uniform and a coach and practices, because we could not afford it. because the money was already going to Claire, because her activities mattered and mine did not. That pattern repeated in every aspect of our lives. Claire went to private school from kindergarten through 12th grade, Montessori for elementary, Catholic for middle school, prestigious prep school for high school. My parents paid $30,000 a year, every year, for 13 years. They sacrificed for it, drove older cars, did not take vacations, lived in a smaller house than they could have afforded. Also, Claire could have the best education. She is so bright, they would say. She needs to be challenged. She needs to be with other gifted students. She needs the best teachers. She deserves every opportunity. I went to public school, not because I asked to, not because I wanted to, but because when kindergarten came, my parents enrolled me in the neighborhood public school without discussion. When I asked why I could not go to the same school as Claire, my mom said, "You are doing fine where you are. There is no reason to change what is working." Translation: we already spend $30,000 a year on Claire. We are not spending another $30,000 on you. You are not worth the same investment. The academic differences between our schools were significant. Claire's schools had small class sizes, individualized attention, amazing resources, field trips to museums and theaters, and historical sites. My public school was overcrowded, underfunded, textbooks from the 1990s, teachers who were overworked and undersupported. Do not get me wrong, public school was fine. I got a decent education, made friends, did well enough, but the message was clear. Claire deserved the best. I got whatever was left over. Claire was worth investing in. I was not. This pattern continued in every area. When Claire wanted to learn piano, my parents bought a baby grand, $12,000. They put it in the living room where everyone could see it, hired the best piano teacher in the city, paid for weekly lessons for 8 years. Claire played for maybe 2 years before losing interest. The piano sat unused for years afterward. But my parents never complained about the wasted money, never sold the piano, just kept it as a monument to Claire's brief piano phase. When I expressed interest in learning guitar, my dad bought me a $70 acoustic guitar from Walmart. No lessons, no teacher. You can teach yourself with YouTube, he said. Lots of people learn that way. I tried, really tried, but learning an instrument without guidance is hard, especially when you are 12 years old. I struggled, got frustrated, eventually gave up. My parents never asked about it, never offered to get me lessons. The guitar ended up in the back of my closet, another reminder that I was not worth the same investment as Claire. Every birthday was a stark reminder of the difference. Claire's birthdays were major events, themed parties with professional decorations, catering, entertainment. She had a princess party at age 6 with a woman dressed as Cinderella, a spa party at age 10 with manicures and facials for 12 girls, a sweet 16 that cost more than some weddings. My parents spared no expense, posted hundreds of photos. Our birthday girl. Another year with our amazing daughter. So grateful for Claire. My birthdays were dinner at a chain restaurant and a cake from the grocery store. Maybe a few presents. Nothing elaborate, nothing special. Just a basic acknowledgement that I had aged another year and I was still here. When I turned 13, an important birthday, supposedly, my parents took me to Applebee's. Just the 3 of us. Claire was at a dance competition. They sang happy birthday with the staff. Gave me a card with $50 in it. That was it. We were home by 7 p.m. My parents spent the rest of the evening tracking Claire's competition results online. When Claire turned 16, my parents threw a massive party, rented a venue, hired a DJ, catered food, invited 60 people, photo booth, professional photographer, custom decorations, a highlight video of Claire's life set to emotional music. The The party cost at least $5,000. Probably more. My parents posted about it for weeks. Best Sweet 16 ever. Our beautiful daughter. So proud of the young woman she is becoming. The differences were not lost on me, or on anyone else. My grandmother pulled my mom aside at Claire's Sweet 16 party. I was not supposed to hear, but I was getting punch, and they were right next to the drink table. "Margaret, I need to ask you something," my grandmother said quietly. "I noticed Jordan's birthday last month was very low-key, just a dinner, but this party for Claire is quite elaborate. Do you not worry about how that makes Jordan feel?" My mother stiffened. "Mom, please do not start. Claire is our firstborn. She is special. She deserves to be celebrated. Jordan understands that." "Does he? He is only 13. He might not understand why his sister gets a party that costs thousands and he gets dinner at a restaurant. Jordan is different from Claire. He does not need big celebrations. He is more low-key. We are giving each child what they need. Or you are giving Claire what she wants and Jordan what you think he will accept." My mother did not respond, just walked away. But my grandmother had named it. They were not giving us what we needed. They were giving Claire everything she wanted, and me whatever I would tolerate without complaining. High school made everything worse, because by then I was old enough to really understand what was happening, old enough to see the pattern clearly, old enough to be angry about it, but still too young to do anything about it, still dependent on them, still trapped in a family where I would always be second place. Claire was thriving at her expensive prep school. Straight A's, AP classes, leadership positions, president of 3 clubs. Her resume was impeccable. My parents were so proud. They talked about it constantly, to relatives, to friends, to anyone who would listen. Claire is just so accomplished. We cannot believe how brilliant she is. She is going to change the world. I was doing well at public school. Not brilliantly, but well. I had a 3.6 GPA. I was in honors classes. I was part of debate team and coding club. I had friends. I was a normal, well-adjusted teenager. But to my parents, I was just okay. Just average. Just Jordan. Doing fine, but nothing special. When Claire got her driver's license at 16, it was a huge event. My parents surprised her with a car. They blindfolded her, walked her into the driveway, took off the blindfold. There was a Honda Accord with a giant red bow on it. Newer model, maybe 2 years old. Low mileage, fully loaded. Claire cried. My parents cried. They took 1,000,000 photos, posted them everywhere. Our licensed driver. So proud of our independent young woman. Watch out, world. Claire is behind the wheel. When I got my license at 16, my parents handed me keys to the old family sedan, a 2003 Toyota Camry with 200,000 miles, a dent in the passenger door, and a check engine light that had been on for 3 years. "Try not to wreck it," my dad said. "We need this car to last until we can afford to replace it." No bow, no surprise, no photos, no celebration. Just keys to a car that was barely running and an instruction not to make it worse. I got a job 2 weeks after getting my license. I needed money for gas, for car insurance, which my parents said I had to pay myself, for food when I was out with friends, for any clothes I wanted that were not from Walmart, for everything, basically, because my parents made it clear that they were not going to fund my life beyond the bare minimum. I worked at a grocery store, started at minimum wage, stocking shelves, running register, cleaning spills. It was not glamorous work, but it was mine, my money, my independence. I worked 25 hours a week on top of school. I was tired all the time. My grades slipped a little that year, from 3.6 to 3.4. My parents noticed. "You need to work less," my dad said. "Your grades are more important." I need to work to pay for gas and insurance and everything else you will not pay for, I said. We pay for your housing and food. That is enough. You need to manage your time better. But Claire did not have to manage anything. Claire did not work during high school. She did not need to. My parents gave her an allowance, paid for her gas, paid for her insurance, paid for her clothes and activities and everything she wanted. She could focus on school and activities and building her college resume, while I worked 25 hours a week and did homework at midnight and tried to keep my grades up and manage everything alone. When Claire was 17, she got an internship, unpaid internship at a prestigious marketing firm. My parents were ecstatic, drove her to the office every day, 45 minutes each way, bought her professional clothes, paid for her lunch, did everything to support her unpaid labor. This is going to look amazing on her college applications, my mom said. This is exactly the kind of experience top schools want to see. I was working a paying job 25 hours a week, earning money, paying my own bills, learning actual responsibility. But Claire's unpaid internship was more impressive, more valuable, more worth supporting. The summer before my senior year, I worked full-time, 45 hours a week. Every week, I saved every penny I could. By the time school started, I had saved $4,000. I was incredibly proud of that. I had worked my ass off all summer, sacrificed hanging out with friends, sacrificed sleeping in, sacrificed everything to build up savings for college, because I knew my parents were not going to help me. That same summer, Claire did a study abroad program, 3 weeks in France. It was a program for high-achieving students. Cost $6,000. My parents paid without hesitation. This is such an amazing opportunity for her. My mom gushed. She is going to learn so much, experience a new culture, make connections with other gifted students. This is going to be transformative. Claire came back from France with a bunch of photos and a new appreciation for croissants. That was the extent of the transformation. But my parents acted like she had cured cancer, posted constantly about her experience. Our worldly daughter. So grateful we could give her this opportunity. Already planning her next adventure. I worked 45 hours a week and saved $4,000. Claire went to France for 3 weeks and learned to say bonjour properly. But her summer was the impressive one. Her summer was the one worth celebrating and funding. When it came time to apply for colleges, the differences became even more stark. My parents hired a private college counselor for Claire, $3,000. This woman helped Claire choose schools, revise her essays, prepare for interviews. They did SAT prep courses, $1,500. Private tutoring for the test, $2,000. They drove her to visit campuses all over the country: California, Massachusetts, New York, Pennsylvania. Probably spent $5,000 just on college tours. They invested over $10,000 in Claire's college application process, not counting the $30,000 they had been spending annually on her private school education. They spared no expense, because Claire's future was important, because Claire deserved every advantage, because Claire was worth the investment. I applied to colleges by myself, used free resources online, wrote my essays alone. No counselor, no prep courses, no tours. I could not afford to visit schools, so I looked at virtual tours, made decisions based on websites and brochures, applied to schools I hoped I could afford with financial aid. My parents never offered to help, never sat down with me to discuss options, never asked if I needed anything. They were too focused on Claire's applications, on her essays, on her future, on making sure she got into the best possible school. I got accepted to State University, good school, solid computer science program, in-state tuition, 3 hours from home. I was proud of myself. I had navigated the entire process alone. When I told my parents, my dad said, "That is good. Make sure you have your financial aid figured out. We cannot help with tuition. We are already stretched thin with Claire." Stretched thin with Claire. That was the explanation. All the money was going to her, so there was none for me. I was expected to figure it out, just like I had figured out everything else. Claire got accepted to Yale. My parents lost their minds, cried, screamed, jumped up and down, called everyone they knew, threw a massive party, had a cake that said, "Yale bound," professional photo shoot with Claire in Yale merchandise, posts for days. "Our brilliant daughter is going to Yale. We are so proud we could burst. Our dreams are coming true." And then they paid for it. All of it. Yale is expensive. $65,000 a year. Times 4 years. $260,000. They paid every single penny. Tuition, room and board, meal plan, books, spending money, flights home for holidays, summer storage, everything. They liquidated investments, took out a home equity loan, changed their retirement plans, did everything necessary to make sure Claire could go to Yale without taking on debt. I got student loans, $45,000 to get through 4 years at state. That is what I could get in federal loans. It barely covered tuition and books. I had to work to pay for housing and food. I also worked during summers, full-time, to save money for the next school year. I was drowning in work and school and stress. Claire went to Yale debt-free, supported entirely by our parents. She could focus completely on school, on the college experience, on having fun and learning and growing. She did not have to work, did not have to worry about money, did not have to stress about anything except her classes. I worked 2 jobs through college, 20 hours a week during the school year, full-time during breaks. I was exhausted constantly. My social life suffered. My grades were good, but not great. 3.5 GPA, which was impressive given that I was working 40 hours a week, but my parents never acknowledged that. Meanwhile, Claire was thriving. Dean's List, study abroad, summer internships at prestigious companies. My parents talked about her constantly, posted about her constantly. So proud of our Yale student. Claire is having the time of her life. We are so blessed. They never posted about me, never bragged about the fact that I was working 2 jobs and maintaining a decent GPA, never acknowledged that I was doing it all alone while Claire had every advantage. I was just Jordan, existing somewhere, doing okay, nothing special. I called home maybe once a month. The conversations were always the same. "How is school?" my mom would ask. "Good." "Busy." "That is good." "How are your classes?" "Fine." "A lot of reading." "Working a lot." "That is good." "Did I tell you about Claire? She just got accepted to study abroad in England next semester. We are so excited for her." And then she would talk about Claire for 30 minutes. I would listen, say, "That is great," at appropriate intervals, then make an excuse to get off the phone. They never asked about my jobs, my friends, my life, just surface-level questions, and then back to Claire. Claire called home every week, sometimes multiple times a week. My parents hung on every word. They wanted to know everything, what she was learning, what her professors said, what her friends were like, what she did on weekends. They were completely invested in every detail of her life. I was invisible. I had been my entire life, but never more so than during those college years. Junior year, Claire decided she wanted to study abroad, a semester in England, at Oxford, through Yale's program. Cost $20,000 on top of her regular tuition. My parents paid without question. "This is such an incredible opportunity," my dad said. "Oxford. Can you imagine? This is going to open so many doors for her. Claire posted constantly from England. Photos at pubs. Photos at historical sites. Photos with her new international friends. My parents shared every single photo, commented on everything. Our world traveler, so proud of our global citizen. What an experience. That same year, I had to drop a class. I was working too many hours. Could not keep up with 5 classes and 2 jobs. I was burning out, barely sleeping, barely eating. I was struggling, really struggling. I tried to reduce my hours at work, but I could not afford to. I needed the money for rent and food, so I dropped the class. It put me behind, meant I would need to take extra classes, senior year, or do summer school. I did not tell my parents. What was the point? They would not help, would not offer support, would probably just say I needed to manage my time better. So I handled it alone, like I handled everything. Claire graduated from Yale with honors. Summa cum laude. My parents flew out for graduation week. Rented a hotel room. Took her to expensive restaurants. Made a whole vacation out of it. They posted hundreds of photos. Our Yale graduate. We could not be prouder. This is the happiest day of our lives. I graduated from state with a 3.5 GPA while working 40 hours a week and managing $45,000 in student loan debt. My parents came to the ceremony, showed up right before it started, sat through it, left immediately after. No dinner, no celebration, no photos, just a quick congratulations in the parking lot, and then they were gone. They needed to get home for something. I do not even remember what. It did not matter. The message was clear. My graduation was an obligation. Claire's had been a celebration. After graduation, Claire moved back home, said she needed time to figure out her next steps, to explore her options, to decide what she wanted to do with her life. My parents welcomed her with open arms, set up her childhood bedroom exactly how she liked it, bought her favorite foods, paid for her car insurance and phone bill, let her live rent-free while she figured things out. She did not work, not for the first 6 months, just slept in, met friends for lunch, went to yoga, posted on social media about her journey of self-discovery. My parents supported her completely, financially and emotionally. She worked so hard at Yale. My mom said, she deserves a break. She will figure out her path when she is ready. I moved into a tiny apartment with 2 roommates, both of whom were slobs. The place was always a mess, but it was all I could afford. $400 a month for a tiny bedroom in a 3-bedroom apartment in a not great part of town. I slept on a mattress on the floor, used plastic bins as furniture, ate ramen and pasta most days. But it was mine, my space, my independence. I also started paying my student loans immediately. I could not afford to defer them. $500 a month. It hurt, really hurt, but I made it work. I picked up extra shifts, worked weekends, did freelance coding projects for extra money. I was hustling, constantly hustling, barely keeping my head above water, but I was doing it. I started applying for jobs immediately after graduation. Hundreds of applications. Computer science degree. Good GPA, considering I worked through school. Some internship experience. I was qualified for entry-level developer positions. But the job market was competitive. I got a lot of rejections. A few interviews. More rejections. Finally, 3 months after graduation, I got an offer. Software developer at a mid-sized company. $55,000 a year. Not amazing, but solid for entry level. I was thrilled. It was a real job, in my field, with benefits, with room for growth. I was going to be okay. I called my parents to tell them. That is good, Jordan, my dad said. Glad you found something. That was it. No congratulations. No excitement. No pride. Just glad you found something. 2 weeks later, Claire announced she was taking a job. Executive assistant at a startup. $38,000 a year. Not even in her field of study. Just a job she found through a friend. My parents acted like she had been named CEO of Google. Posted about it. Called everyone. Took her out to celebrate. So proud of our working woman. Claire is starting her career. Amazing things ahead. I was making $17,000 more than her. But her job was the impressive one. Her job was worth celebrating. Mine was just, glad you found something. I started the job 2 weeks later. It was good. Really good. The work was challenging. My coworkers were smart. My manager was supportive. I was learning a lot, growing as a developer, building my skills. I was excited about my future for the first time in a long time. I also moved out of the apartment with the terrible roommates. Got my own studio. Small. Really small. But mine. Just mine. No roommates. No one else's mess. My space. I could afford it because I was making decent money now. It was not fancy, but it was home. My parents never visited, never asked to see the place, never expressed any interest in this milestone. I was 22 years old with my own apartment and my first real job, and my parents could not be bothered to acknowledge either. Meanwhile, Claire was still living at home, rent-free. 7 months after graduating from Yale, she said she was saving money for grad school. My parents supported this completely, continued paying for everything. Her car insurance, her phone, her groceries, everything. She was 25 years old with a job, and she was still being fully supported like a teenager. I was 22, and I had been financially independent since I was 16. I worked at that first job for a year, learned a lot, got good at what I did, got a lot of positive feedback. My annual review was excellent. My manager said I was one of the strongest junior developers he had seen, that I had a bright future in the field, that I should think about where I wanted to go next. I started looking. The tech industry is fast-moving. If you are good, you can climb quickly. I was good, really good. I started getting messages from recruiters on LinkedIn, companies interested in hiring me, offering more money, better positions. One recruiter reached out about a position in Silicon Valley, mid-level developer role, company with great reputation, working on interesting projects. Salary range, 70 to 90,000, plus stock options, plus relocation assistance. It was a huge opportunity. I applied, did a phone screen, did a technical interview, did an on-site interview where I flew to California for the first time ever, stayed in a hotel, interviewed with 5 different people, whiteboard algorithms, talked about my experience and my skills and what I wanted to do. I crushed it, absolutely crushed it. They made me an offer 3 days later, $82,000 a year, plus stock options worth potentially $20,000 or more, depending on how the company did, plus full benefits, plus $10,000 relocation assistance. I accepted immediately. This was it. This was my chance, my opportunity to really launch my career, to make real money, to build real security, to move to California and start a new life in a place where no one knew me as the spare kid, the backup, the one who did not matter as much. I gave notice at my current job. They were sad to see me go, but understood. It was a great opportunity. My manager wrote me a glowing recommendation, told me to stay in touch, said I could always come back if things did not work out. I started packing. I did not have much. My whole life fit into my small sedan. Clothes, laptop, some books, kitchen stuff. That was it. I was 23 years old, and my entire life fit in one car. It was kind of sad, but also kind of freeing. I was mobile, flexible, ready for anything. I told my parents about the move, sent them an email, got a new job in California. Software developer, $82,000 a year plus stock. Moving in 3 weeks. Pretty excited about it. My mom replied 2 days later. That is quite a move. Very far from family. California is expensive. Make sure you budget carefully. Are you sure this is a good idea? No congratulations. No excitement. No pride. Just concern and doubt. As if moving across the country for a major career opportunity was somehow a bad decision. As if I needed their approval for my life choices. I did not respond. I was done seeking validation from people who would never give it. Around the same time, Claire announced she was thinking about grad school. MBA program. 2 years. She had been researching programs. My parents were ecstatic. Started looking at schools with her. Started talking about how they would help her pay for it. Started planning her future like they always did. An MBA will be so valuable. My dad said, Claire is going to be incredibly marketable with that degree. We need to make sure she goes to a good program. I was moving across the country for a job that would pay me $82,000 at age 23. She was thinking about maybe applying to grad school eventually. But her plans were more important, more worth discussing, more worth celebrating. I moved to California 3 weeks later, drove across the country by myself. 5 days, slept in motels, ate fast food, listened to podcasts and audiobooks. It was one of the best weeks of my life. Just me, the open road, heading toward my future. No family obligations, no one making me feel like I was not enough. Just freedom. I got to California and immediately fell in love. The weather, the culture, the energy, the opportunities, the tech industry. Everything about it felt right. I found an apartment, small 1-bedroom in a decent area, more expensive than I wanted to pay, but still affordable on my salary. I furnished it slowly. IKEA furniture, secondhand stuff, made it feel like home. I started the job and thrived immediately. The work was challenging but exciting. The team was smart and collaborative. I was learning so much, growing so fast. Within 6 months, I was leading projects, mentoring newer developers, getting noticed by senior leadership. My annual review was exceptional. My manager recommended me for promotion. At my 1-year mark, I was promoted to senior developer. My salary jumped to $98,000, plus a bigger stock grant, plus a performance bonus of $10,000. I was making 6 figures at age 24. I could not believe it. I sent my parents an email. Got promoted. Senior developer now. Salary is $98,000 plus bonus. Pretty excited about it. My dad replied, "That is good news. How are things otherwise?" That was it. My son is making 6 figures at 24, and the response is, "That is good news." No pride, no celebration, just a basic acknowledgement, and then moving on. Meanwhile, Claire had decided to apply to MBA programs. She had been working for 2 years at that point, making about $42,000 now after a small raise. She applied to several schools, got into a few, chose a program that cost $70,000 a year. For 2 years, $140,000 total. My parents committed to paying for the first year in full, $70,000, for Claire's MBA, because they believed in her, because she was going to do great things, because she was worth the investment. I had built a career entirely on my own, paid off my student loans aggressively, saved money, invested, built a foundation, all without any help from them. But they believed in Claire's potential more than my proven success. Life in California was good, really good. I was working hard, but also actually living for the first time. I had friends, went to events, explored the city, tried new restaurants, went hiking on weekends, joined a running club, started dating. I had a life, a real life. That was mine. But I was also lonely. I worked a lot. The tech industry is demanding. Long hours, high pressure, high rewards, but also high stress. And I did not have family support. My parents never called, never checked in, never seemed to care how I was doing. I called my grandmother once a month. She was the only family member who seemed to care about me at all. She asked real questions, listened to my answers, celebrated my achievements. She was proud of me, really proud, and it meant everything. During these calls, she would update me on family news. Claire had started her MBA program, living at home again to save money. My parents were still supporting her fully, paying for her tuition, buying her groceries, covering all her expenses. She was 27 years old in grad school and still being fully supported by our parents. I was 24, living across the country, completely independent, making six figures. But Claire was still the priority, still the one who got all the support. I also started thinking about my future, about what I wanted long term. I had always been interested in Japan, Japanese culture, Japanese technology, the efficiency, the innovation, the way things worked. I started learning Japanese on Duolingo, then took actual classes, went twice a week after work, practiced constantly. I was not fluent, but I was conversational, could read hiragana and katakana, could hold basic conversations. My coworkers thought it was cool, asked why I was learning. I said I had always wanted to visit, maybe live there someday. They were supportive. A few of them had lived abroad, said it was an amazing experience, that I should do it if I had the chance. Then, about a year and a half into my time in California, I was scrolling LinkedIn and saw a job posting that made my heart race. American tech company with a Tokyo office, looking for English-speaking developers who could work with both American and Japanese teams. Ideal candidate, American engineer with Japanese language skills, comfortable working across cultures, excited about living in Japan. I stared at that posting for probably 20 minutes. This was it. This was exactly what I wanted. A chance to live in Japan, to work in tech there, to experience a different culture, to have an adventure, to build a life that was completely mine, in a place where my family could not reach me, could not make demands, could not make me feel small. I applied that night, spent hours on my application, customized my resume, wrote a thoughtful cover letter, sent it in, and then tried not to think about it, tried not to get my hopes up. These positions were competitive. Lots of people wanted to live in Japan. I might not even get an interview. 3 days later, the recruiter called. They wanted to do a phone screen. We talked for an hour about my experience, about my Japanese skills, about why I wanted to move to Tokyo, about what I was looking for in a role. It went really well. She said they would be in touch about next steps. A week later, they flew me to Tokyo for an interview. All expenses paid. Business class ticket. Nice hotel. 2 days in Tokyo for interviews. I had never been to Japan before. Never been out of the country except for a couple trips to Mexico and Canada. This was huge. I fell in love with Tokyo immediately. The second I stepped off the plane. The cleanliness, the order, the respect, the way people moved through the world with consideration and care, the efficiency of the trains, the beauty of the temples, the food. Oh, the food. I tried real ramen, real sushi, real everything. It was incredible. The interviews went perfectly. I met with 6 different people over 2 days. Engineers, managers, team leads. We talked about tech, about my experience, about my goals. We talked about Japanese culture and my language skills and what it would be like to work in Tokyo. Everyone was kind, welcoming, excited about the possibility of me joining the team. On my last day, they took me around the Tokyo office, showed me where I would sit, introduced me to people I would work with, showed me the neighborhood, the trains I would take. The whole experience was designed to help me see what life could be like. And I wanted it, desperately wanted it. I flew home on cloud 9. This was my dream job, dream location, dream life. I wanted this more than I had wanted anything. The offer came 3 days later, $78,000 a year, which was less than I was making in California. But the cost of living in Tokyo was lower. The experience would be invaluable, and I would be living in Japan, living my dream, plus stock options, plus relocation package, plus housing assistance, plus help with visa. They were going to help me with everything, make the transition as smooth as possible. I accepted before I even finished reading the entire offer letter. Yes, absolutely yes. This was happening. I was moving to Japan. Start date, 1 month away. I had 1 month to give notice, pack up my life, say goodbye to California, and move halfway around the world. I was terrified and thrilled in equal measure. This was a huge decision. Moving to a foreign country where I barely spoke the language. Leaving behind the life I had built. The friends I had made. Starting completely over. But it was also freedom. Complete freedom. A chance to build a life that was entirely mine. In a place where my family could not just show up. Could not make unexpected demands. Could not make me feel like I was not enough. I would be on the other side of the world. Finally, completely free. I gave notice at my California job. My manager was disappointed but understanding. Said it was an incredible opportunity. Said to stay in touch. Said I would be welcome back if I ever wanted to return. I told my grandmother about it. She was thrilled. "Oh, Jordan, Tokyo, how exciting. This is going to be amazing for you. I am so proud of you." That support meant everything. She was excited for me, proud of me, saw this for what it was, an achievement, an opportunity, a dream coming true. I told my parents via email, got a job offer in Tokyo, software developer position, moving in a month. Start date is November 1st. Pretty excited about it. My mom called 2 days later. Unusual for her to call. We usually just texted or emailed. "Jordan, hi. We got your email about Tokyo." Yeah, pretty exciting. It is very far from family. Are you sure this is a good idea? What if something happens? What if you need help? What if you do not like it there? Then I will figure it out. I always do. We just worry about you making such a big decision so quickly. Maybe you should think about it more. Consider staying in the States. I have thought about it. This is what I want. What about when we get older? What if we need help? You will be on the other side of the world. And there it was. The real concern. Not about my happiness. Not about my career. Not about my dreams. But about how my choice might inconvenience them in the future. "You have Claire," I said. "She can help if you need it." Claire is busy with her MBA. She has her own life. And I do not. I do not get to have my own life. I am just supposed to stay nearby in case you might need something someday. That is not what I am saying. That is exactly what you are saying. Look, I am moving to Tokyo. The decision is made. I signed a contract. I start in a month. This is happening. You are being selfish, Jordan. Maybe. Or maybe I am just finally choosing myself after 23 years of not mattering to you. That is not fair. We have always cared about you. Have you? Because it does not feel like it. It feels like you have always cared about Claire. And I have been an afterthought, a backup plan, the spare kid who was supposed to just be grateful for the bare minimum while Claire got everything. Jordan, I am moving to Tokyo. I am doing this. I am excited about it. And I am not going to let you make me feel guilty for choosing my own life. I hung up, blocked her number. I did not want to hear more, did not want more guilt trips, did not want them to ruin this for me. I spent the next 3 weeks preparing, sold my furniture, closed my lease, arranged my work visa, booked my flight, packed my life into 2 suitcases and 3 boxes that I was shipping. I was ready. 4 days before my flight, 4 days before I was supposed to leave the country and start my new life, I got a text from Claire. I had not spoken to Claire in probably 8 months. We were not close. Never had been. She was too busy being the golden child to notice I existed. I was too busy surviving to care about building a relationship with someone who had never valued me. The text was long. I will never forget it. Hey Jordan, just wanted to let you know I am quitting my job. I am burned out from my MBA and working at the same time. It is too much. I need a break. I am going to move back home for a while and figure out my next steps. Take some time for myself. Maybe travel. Maybe do some soul searching. I have been working so hard for so long. I deserve a break. Mom and Dad are getting older, and they need help with bills and stuff anyway, so you will need to send money every month to help take care of them while I am not working. I am thinking like $1,500 a month from you should cover it. Mom and Dad do not make as much as you do, and they have been supporting me through grad school, so they are tight on money right now. It is time for you to step up and help the family. Let me know when you can start sending the money. I am giving my 2 weeks notice tomorrow, so I will stop working in 2 weeks. Thanks. I read that text probably 15 times. Each time, I felt something different. Shock, disbelief, rage, and then something that felt like clarity, like the entire pattern of my life crystallizing into one perfect moment. Claire was quitting her job, moving back home, again, at age 27, to take a break and figure things out. And she was telling me, not asking me, telling me, that I would be sending $1,500 a month to support our parents, because she deserved a break, because she had been working so hard, because it was time for me to step up, as if I had not been standing on my own 2 feet since I was 16, as if I had not worked my way through college while she went to Yale debt-free, as if I had not built my entire career with zero help while she got supported through everything, as if I had not been stepping up my entire life while she got carried, and now she wanted more, wanted me to send $1,500 a month to support our parents, so she could take time off, so she could travel and soul search and do whatever she wanted, while I funded everyone, while I sacrificed my income, while I put my life on hold. Again, because that was what I was for. The backup plan, the safety net, the one who was supposed to sacrifice, so Claire could have everything she wanted. I sat there on my couch, in my almost empty apartment, for days away from moving to Tokyo, 4 days away from starting my dream job in my dream city, 4 days away from finally being free. And my sister was trying to trap me, trying to guilt me, trying to make me responsible for everyone while she took a break. I typed out a long response. Years of anger and hurt and frustration. Everything I had ever wanted to say to her. About being invisible. About being second place. About watching her get everything while I got nothing. About working 2 jobs while she studied abroad. About building my career while she was supported through everything. All of it. I typed it all out. Then I deleted it. Because what was the point? She would not understand. She could not understand. She had lived her entire life as the favorite, as the priority, as the one who mattered. She had no concept of what it was like to be me, no idea what it was like to be the spare kid, the backup, the afterthought. Instead, I typed 3 words, "That is not on me." Then I attached a photo, the employment contract I had signed 5 weeks ago, the one that showed I was moving to Tokyo, the one that showed I had a job starting in 4 days, the one that showed my start date, November 1st, the one that proved I was not available, not accessible, not there to be their safety net. I sent it. My phone started ringing almost immediately. Claire. I declined the call. She called again. Declined again. Then my mother called. I answered. "Jordan, what is this about Tokyo? What is Claire talking about? You are moving to Japan." "Yes. I told you a month ago. I sent an email. I am moving in 4 days. But you cannot. We need you here. Claire needs to take time off. She is burned out. We need your help with bills. You cannot just leave. Why not? You never needed me before. Why do you need me now? Because we are family. Family helps each other. Family helps each other. I laughed. It was not a nice laugh. You have never helped me. Not with college. Not with anything. You paid for Claire's entire life. $260,000 for Yale. Another $70,000 for her MBA. Meanwhile, I worked 2 jobs to pay for state. You gave her everything and told me to figure it out myself. And I did. I figured it out. I built a career. I became successful. All without you. And now you want my help? Now you need me? Because Claire wants to take a break? No, absolutely not. You are being selfish. This is your family. You have a responsibility. My only responsibility is to myself. I worked my entire life to get here, to build a career, to be independent, to be successful. I did it without your help, without your support, without anything from you. And I am not going to throw it away because Claire is tired and wants a vacation. It is not a vacation. She is burned out. She needs time to recover. Then she can use the degree you paid $260,000 for to get a better job. Or she can take unpaid leave. Or she can figure it out. But I am not funding her break. I am not sending you money. I am not responsible for any of you. What about your father and me? We are getting older. We might need help soon. Then Claire can help you. She is the one you invested in. She is the one you supported through everything. She is the one you gave everything to. She can be the one to help you now. Jordan, please. You cannot just abandon your family. We need you. You have never needed me. You have never wanted me. I have been the accident, the backup, the spare kid. My entire life. And I am done. I am going to Tokyo. I am living my life. And I am doing it without guilt. You made your choices about who to support and who to invest in. I am making my choice about how to live my life. And my choice is me. You will regret this. When you are alone in a foreign country with no family, you will regret pushing us away. I have been alone my entire life. Even when I was in the same house as you, I was always alone. At least in Tokyo, I will be alone by choice. In a place I want to be. Doing work I love. Living a life I chose. That is not loneliness. That is freedom. I hung up. Blocked her number. Blocked my dad's number. Blocked Claire's number. I was done. Completely done. No more contact. No more guilt. No more expectations. I was cutting them off entirely. The next 4 days were chaos. My phone would not stop ringing. Unknown numbers. Family members. Cousins I had not talked to in years. Aunts and uncles. All calling to tell me I was making a mistake. That I was being selfish. That I was abandoning my family. That I should stay and help. I did not answer any of them. Blocked every number. Turned off voicemail. I was not going to let them ruin this. Was not going to let them make me feel guilty. Was not going to let them take this from me. My grandmother was the only person I stayed in contact with. I called her the day after the text from Claire. Grandma, I need to tell you something. I am cutting off Mom and Dad and Claire. Completely. I am moving to Tokyo and I am not staying in touch with them. What happened, sweetheart? I told her everything. The text from Claire. The demand for money. The expectation that I would sacrifice my life so she could take a break. The phone call with my mom. All of it. My grandmother was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, Jordan, I am proud of you. You are. Yes. You are choosing yourself. Finally, after all these years of being treated like you do not matter, you are standing up and saying, I matter. That takes courage. I am proud of you for having that courage. They think I am being selfish. You are not being selfish. You are being smart. You are protecting yourself from people who have hurt you your entire life. That is not selfish. That is survival. I feel guilty. Of course you do. You were trained to feel guilty. Trained to put Claire first. Trained to sacrifice yourself for her. But you do not owe them your life, Jordan. You do not owe them your dreams. You do not owe them anything. Go to Tokyo. Live your life. Be happy. And do not look back. That conversation gave me the strength to keep going, to get on that plane, to not change my mind. The day of my flight, I woke up early, triple-checked everything. Passport, visa, flight info. I had 2 suitcases packed, everything I needed. I called an Uber to take me to the airport. As I was loading my bags, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost did not answer, but something made me pick up. Jordan. It was my dad, calling from a different number. What do you want, Dad? Please do not get on that plane. Come home. We can work this out. Talk about this. Figure something out. There is nothing to figure out. I am going to Tokyo. I am starting my job. I am living my life. What about your family? What about your responsibilities to us? What responsibilities? You never gave me any responsibilities. You told me to figure everything out myself. So that is what I am doing. I am figuring out my life. And it does not include being the backup plan for Claire. This is not about Claire. It is entirely about Claire. It has always been about Claire. My entire life has been about Claire. What Claire needs. What Claire wants. What Claire deserves. And I am done. I am done being second place. Done being the spare. Done being invisible. I am getting on a plane. I am moving to Tokyo. I am doing this. You will regret this decision. You will be all alone in a foreign country. You will have no one. I have been alone my entire life, Dad. At least in Tokyo, I will be alone somewhere beautiful. Somewhere I chose. Doing work I love. Building a life I want. That is not loneliness. That is freedom. Do not do this, Jordan. Please. I am already done. I already did it. The moment I signed that contract. The moment I decided to choose myself. I am getting on this plane. Do not contact me again. I hung up. Blocked that number. Got in the Uber. Went to the airport. The flight was 13 hours. I slept most of it. When I woke up, we were descending into Tokyo. I looked out the window and saw the city spread out below me. Lights twinkling. So many people living their lives. And I was about to join them. About to start my new life. My real life. The life I chose. I landed in Tokyo, early morning local time. Went through immigration without issues. Got my bags. Took a train to my new apartment. The company had arranged everything. Small but modern apartment in a good neighborhood. Close to the office. Walking distance to restaurants and shops. It was perfect. I spent that first day just adjusting. Jet lag. Culture shock. Excitement. Nerves. All of it. I walked around my new neighborhood. Tried to read signs with my limited Japanese. Bought groceries at a convenience store. Made instant ramen in my new kitchen. Sat on my floor and thought about how far I had come. From the spare kid who did not matter, to a software developer making good money in Tokyo, Japan. I had done it, all by myself, despite my family, in spite of them. I started work the following Monday. The office was incredible, modern, collaborative, international team. Everyone spoke English. Everyone was welcoming. I felt like I fit immediately, like I had found my place. I threw myself into work. Learned the systems, met the team, started contributing. I was good at my job, really good. My manager noticed. My colleagues noticed. I was making an impact from day one. After about 2 weeks in Tokyo, I unblocked my parents and checked my messages. Hundreds of texts, dozens of voicemails, all saying the same thing. How could I do this? I was selfish. I was abandoning my family. I was going to regret this. I was a terrible son, a terrible brother. A terrible person. Claire had sent messages too, angry messages, saying I had ruined her plans, that she could not afford to quit now because I refused to help, that I was forcing her to keep working when she needed a break, that I was the worst brother in the world. My mother sent the longest message. Your sister had to cancel her plans because you refused to help. She cannot afford to take time off if you are not going to support the family. She is devastated. She had been planning this for months, and you ruined it. How can you be so selfish? How can you care so little about your own family? You are our son. You are supposed to be there for us, but you chose yourself over us. I hope you can live with that decision. I read through all of it with complete detachment. They genuinely believed I was wrong, believed I should have given up my dream to fund their lives, believed I was selfish for choosing myself. They saw nothing wrong with their expectations, nothing wrong with assuming I would sacrifice everything for Claire. Again, I did not respond to any of them. Just read everything, then block them all again, permanently this time. I also sent an email to my grandmother, told her about Tokyo, about the job, about my new apartment, about how I was doing. I did not ask for updates about family, did not want to know, just wanted her to know I was okay. She responded quickly. Jordan, I am so proud of you. Tokyo sounds wonderful. You deserve this happiness. You deserve to be somewhere you are valued. Do not let them make you feel guilty. You gave them 23 years. You do not owe them anything else. Live your life. Be happy. I love you. P.S. Your parents are telling everyone their version of events, making you out to be the villain. Do not let it bother you. The people who matter know the truth. That support meant everything. Life in Tokyo was challenging but incredible. The work was engaging. The city was fascinating. I was learning Japanese quickly because I was immersed, making friends with coworkers, exploring on weekends, trying new foods, visiting temples, going to baseball games, living. I was happy, genuinely happy. For the first time in my life, I was not trying to earn anyone's approval, not trying to compete with Claire, not trying to be good enough for parents who would never think I was good enough. Just living, being, existing in a space where I was valued for my work and my presence was wanted. 6 months in, I got promoted. Team lead. My salary jumped to $92,000. I was thriving. I also met someone. Her name was Yuki. She worked in a different department. We met at a company event. Started talking. She was smart and funny and kind. She spoke perfect English but was patient with my Japanese. We started dating. For the first time, I felt truly seen. Yuki listened when I talked, asked about my day, cared about my thoughts and feelings. She made me feel like I mattered, not because I was useful, not because I could do something for her, but because she valued me as a person. A year after moving to Tokyo, I was completely settled. Japanese was fluent. Career was thriving. Relationship was serious. Yuki and I were talking about moving in together, about long-term plans, about building a life together. My grandmother kept me updated on family news through occasional emails. She knew I did not want direct contact with my parents, but she gave me the basic facts. Claire was still living at home, still not working, had quit her job like she planned. Apparently, my parents were struggling financially because they were supporting her completely, but they would never admit it, would never ask Claire to contribute, would never make her take responsibility. My grandmother also told me that my parents complained about me constantly, told everyone I had abandoned the family, that I was selfish and ungrateful, that I was a disappointment. They had rewritten history to make themselves victims. I did not care. Let them tell their version. I knew the truth. On my 2-year anniversary in Tokyo, Yuki and I got engaged. I proposed at a temple in Kyoto. It was perfect. She said yes. We were building a life together. A real partnership, based on love and respect. I sent my grandmother a photo. She was thrilled. Sent a long message about how happy she was for me. She also told me she had mentioned my engagement to my parents. My mother cried. My father went silent. Claire was angry. Angry that I was happy without them. Good. Let them be angry. I was done caring. Yuki and I got married a year later. Small ceremony in Tokyo. Just close friends and Yuki's family. And my grandmother, who flew out for it. It was perfect. My parents were not invited. Found out through my grandmother. Apparently devastated. My mother called my grandmother crying. Said she could not believe I got married without them. My grandmother told her the truth. You pushed him away. You made your choices. Now you live with them. Life continued. Yuki and I bought an apartment. Small but modern. We were building a home. A real home where we both felt valued. I got promoted again. Director level. 6 figures. Success. Respect. Happiness. I am 26 now. 5 years since that text from Claire. 5 years since I moved to Tokyo. 5 years since I chose myself. I have not spoken to my parents or Claire in 5 years. No desire to. They made their choices. I made mine. My grandmother tells me they still complain. Still paint me as the villain. Fine. Let them. I am happy. Really happy. I have a wife who loves me. A career I am proud of. A life I built. A future full of possibility. And I did it without them. Despite them. Some people might think I was too harsh. But they do not understand. I did not abandon my family. My family abandoned me long before I moved to Tokyo. I just made it official by leaving. My name is Jordan Hayes. I am 26 years old. 5 years ago, my sister texted that she was quitting her job and I would support our parents while she figured out her life. I said no. Signed a contract for Tokyo. Moved 4 days later. They called me selfish. Said I abandoned them. Said I would regret it. They were wrong. I have never been happier. If you are the backup plan in your family, the one expected to sacrifice, while the golden child gets everything, know this. You do not owe them your life, your dreams, your future. Choose yourself. Protect your dreams. Build your life. Set boundaries, even if it means walking away, even if it means moving across the world. You deserve to be prioritized. You deserve to be valued. I chose me. Best decision I ever made. You can choose you too. Thank you for listening to my story of growing up faster than I ever wanted to. I have left 2 more stories on your screen, both from young men who learned that sometimes becoming an adult does not happen at 18. It happens the moment your family needs you to be strong. Click on whichever one speaks to you. And if you want to join our community of people who understand what it is like to be forced to grow up overnight, that notification bell is waiting. Until tomorrow, remember, age is just a number, but courage defines who you really are.